Hey Billy, you ready to give your information and narration on the cost of having to buy a CB and set it up as a base station, or maybe even for your car? Are you ready?
Yeah, James, let's get it started.
Okay, sounds good. Let's get this thing rolling. I'll let you start giving the info. Okay, so take it away.
Welcome to the Simple Prepper. In this video I want to give you a ballpark on average costs of setting up a basic CB base station at your home or fixed structure. And basic CB radio and antenna installation for your vehicle. For your base station install, the components needed will be a CB radio, antenna mast, 12-volt power supply, and coax cable wire for your antenna. You may need some antenna mast mounting materials as well, depending on how you plan to install your mast. CB radios can range in price. A modest professional CB radio will cost $100 to $200. So, expect an average of $150 for the radio. CB radio antennas for base stations average about $135 for a decent 18-foot antenna. Coax cable antenna wire lengths may vary depending on install needs. Let's consider an average length of 50 feet. Reasonably priced cables with PL259 connectors averages about $40. A basic 10-foot mast, made out of 1 1/4 inch electric conduit pipe will average about $35. And wall connecting materials about another $15, totaling $50 for these parts. I would advise adding another $10 for a metal pin used for framing concrete molds to help stable the mast base where it sets on the ground. The bracketing connecting materials will be used to hold the upper part of the mast to a one-story structure's eave fascia. So, let's consider an average cost of $60 for making your mast. If you need to attach additional lengths for a taller mast for a taller structure, you will need to at least double your cost for the mast. You will need a 12-volt DC power supply to power your CB radio. These can range from $35 to $65. Let's call this an average of $50. So, you've got $150 the CB radio, $135 for the antenna, $40 for the coax cable, $60 for mast and materials, and $50 a 12-volt power supply, totaling an average cost of $435. If you plan to have someone install this for you, you will need to consider labor cost as well. Much of the cost will depend on structure and install. Installing a CB radio and antenna vehicle can cost a bit less than a base station install, as in many cases you can use a magnet mount antenna that has included cable built in. But, you may need to run power wires from your battery to your radio. This is usually advisable to do to reduce other electronics noises from your vehicle in the audio on the radio. You will run into the same price average for a CB radio. However, vehicle CB antennas vary. Average costs of a decent magnet mount antennas range from $45 to $120. Let's say we will start off with a mid-lower end antenna averaging $85. And $10 more for power wire. If you are doing the vehicle install yourself, I would say you have an average cost of $245. You can purchase less expensive products, but I advise a professional class radio over recreational equipment. And, you may need to spend about $30 to $40 for a sine wave reflection meter to tune your antenna. But, you can use it for both installs. Some vehicle and base station antennas are pre-tuned, but they are usually the smaller antennas and lack better transmit and reception capabilities. I hope this helps with your budget assessments when considering making your purchases. Like anything, the sky is the limit with many selections out there, and similarly, their price. You make your choices. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel.
Thank you, Billy. I really appreciate that. I know you do your best. I know some phonetics are a little bit tough for you, so sorry people. When Billy said coax, he was meaning coax. That's for the coax wire cable that's used for antenna wire, or cord, patch cord basically.
Sorry, I don't get all of it right sometimes. I try, though.
Billy, good job. I really appreciate you helping me out. I know I'm not the best on just speaking to a lens. But you do a good job, and thank you for helping me out again.
You are very welcome. And, don't worry James, you will get better with practice.
Well, if you feel up to it, Billy, I'll give you a few more jobs to do in the future, if that's okay with you.
Sure, James, but you know it's going to cost you.
We'll work out something.